Welcome back to the show. My name is Mikhail, hanging out here with Kacper of Brightpool. Kacper, I'd like to start this conversation talking about DeFi as a whole. You're obviously building a lot of things in the DeFi space, and certainly would love to get to that and understand it more. But what do you see the landscape of DeFi being at this current state?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. So if you compare the state of DeFi from 2 years ago and right now, it changed completely, in my opinion. You can see how it changed completely because, and you could see at different phases of rising and then downfall and then rising again. So to answer what is the state right now, I would say what maybe we could experience for the even for the past year. So DeFi did skyrocket at the beginning, where the liquidity was building like crazy, all the ethers and everything that created the DeFi borrowing, basically the borrowing and the lending at the beginning did create all this hype for DeFi. And DeFi means different. I would say decentralized finance means different things for everyone. So for one, this is just a borrowing and lending, the basic principle of the banking, which basically is very safe and it's very fair because you borrow the money, you get the fee out of it, and people just have to put some collateral just as a safety for you to provide them a lending, like depending from what side you are. And this is the basic would build the DeFi, I would say. Then on top of that, of course, the fees for borrowing were crazy, and I would say that the end of it was pretty sad because we could see what happened with Luna and the downfall. And I think this hit the whole DeFi world because a lot of retail people, ordinary people did lose not only there, but on a bunch of projects where the tokenomics economy wasn't sound and it was not built to last longer. It was the first one that got money and the last one lost the money. So there was a lot of projects like that. The fees that were paid for staking for something were just unrational, and it collapsed at some level. Actually, Luna did hit the whole market like strong, and it was, I would say, I would call it a downfall of DeFi. People were saying, no, this is decentralized, this is not secure. I lost my money there, etc., 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 because people did not understand it. What is DeFi? And DeFi is just decentralized finance, which can mean different things. And I would just connect this with algorithms, with the smart contracts. This is what drives me, because algorithms are fair. They always act the same way. I mean, you cannot cheat in the algorithm. And actually, decentralized finance is being built by algorithms, by smart contracts. So this is one. But after a while, I would say when there was a big criticism for DeFi because it's uncontrolled, people didn't understand it, people lost money. Actually, what happened, centralized finance actually did fail again. And then people say, oh, so this can fail as well, and even banks can collapse. And what would happen, So all this, what we saw like half a year ago with the collapse of FTX, and everything would follow the collapse of banks and etc. People started to understand that decentralized is so much better. Actually, the sentiment came back after the collapse of Texas and centralized finance, I would say it. And then DeFi is back in the game again. The problem is people still don't understand that everything has to be sound, and the tokenomics, the models need to have like economics behind, like math behind. And then so the state of DeFi for me is pretty okay right now. I would say the whole market is still bleeding hard. And a lot of retail people just left the market because they lost the money and they didn't come back ever. And I think there was, like, at least in Europe, there are like heavy regulations coming in, at least in June 24, like Mikhail and everything. So there are DeFi will be regulated too, in my opinion. People are putting eyes on it again because it's safer, actually, with all the precautions that you have to take, because you are fully responsible for the funds that you have. If you make the very simple mistake, even with the ledger, anything, and you allow, you click somewhere on some phishing site, like a bridge or something that give an allowance to your wallet, you'll be hacked. And this is the dark side. No one will ever help you. You will lose the funds and they're gone. But from other side, no one can so far take the money from you if you want, if you will not allow it, right? So there is no third body, no one can take it automatically so far. Like Luna that did crash, but actually it's surprising people with something new, or like play to earn. I think this is super simple, right? But just people just invented it and it grow really big, and then right now it's I don't know how big it is comparing to the best times of it, but still people do execute it, and there are projects that execute the play to earn. It also implies on DeFi because this is not centralized.
I do say, Kacper, I will say that the GameFi, their issue is, well, user acquisition for one, but then also retaining those users. Because most times when gamers, they'll make the money and then they'll just move on to a different platform, which tells me that they're there to make the money, right? They're not there to actually experience the game. And that's something that I think GameFi needs to change. On the DeFi side, though, sticking to the topic here, the issue that I have heard from other venture capitalists is that a lot of times there's a product market fit issue, or by the time they figure out what the product market fit is, they don't have enough money to execute on that because they've ran out of runway essentially. But one of the biggest challenges that I think DeFi has right now, and I'd like to ask you this question, is on the regulatory side. You mentioned regulation; it's coming. It's inevitable, which makes me want to ask: do you believe that decentralized applications need to KYC the users, or zero knowledge KYC? Do you feel like there needs to be some type of a solution in place from a regulatory perspective?
So personally, I can say I'm not fond of it. I believe there should be an amount of freedom given to people, just as it is, as it stays. So all this KYCs and what's happening, I don't like it, and I don't think it's necessary. I think what we need is more education about how to act and how to live in the Web3, in the DeFi, and how not to make mistakes which cause you to lose your money, right? So this is what we need. We don't, KYC will not provide you with extra safety, and I believe this should be a reason why regulatory would want to have KYCs, AMLs, and etc. Actually, it's not giving the safety to the users. You can get even hacked in the standard bank, right? So what we need in DeFi and in crypto in general is education of users. What are where are the weak spaces? What you have to pay special attention? And I don't think we need more regulations at all. DEXs should stay anonymous, in my opinion. This is what we do in Brightpool as far as we can. And I can say regulatory is also a problem for startups and for new projects. We had to pay a lot of attention, a lot of money, and spend a lot of time to set up a legal entities that will be able to develop the project, a DeFi project, a DEX, which is Brightpool. And actually, it's a problem. Even if you have an idea, you have a small team, then you need to have a lot of resources just to provide legal entity, not to get in trouble in future as a developer, as a business person. And this is a problem I really don't like. why it's so complicated, why regulatory in different areas are, especially in Europe, United States. So it's what I can say because I know these regulations the most. Actually, are like treating like they're like haters, a little bit. And I understand it needs to be regulated, but from other side, regulatory is something that you have to spend. You have two ways. You have to spend a lot of efforts, money, time, everything to create legal entities that act in a legal way. This is like the Bright Foundation. It takes a lot of time even to proceed. It's more complicated. Or you can just set up entity, on some island and be anonymous, and you just start in a week. So there are two sides. We chose to be the fully legit KYC team, etc. So this is what we have chosen. But facing those problems is just like burning money. That, as you said, instead of that, we would better spend all this time and efforts to have a better product that would fit customers better than it's fitting right now. And actually in the DeFi, this is the biggest problem, because if you are inventing something in DeFi, usually you're like DeFi person, something what is very simple for you is super hard for average user, and you think, oh, this would be super easy product for people and etc. And then you face people even don't understand what we are talking about. So this is what we faced it a lot. Being like a DEX that is based on the options, we face it that people don't understand what we are talking about. So you can say that our product, we had to change our strategy and everything. Having a fit product is super important in all the areas, but also in a standard startup. It's not simple, everyone knows it, but people just make those mistakes over and over and over because you love your product so much that you believe everyone will as well love it.
I couldn't agree more with you, Kacper. I run the community network spotlight, and whenever I come up with ideas, it's very difficult to gauge the level of interest sometimes. It could be crickets, nobody says anything, but then you get word from somebody that says that everybody loves it, right? So sometimes it's very difficult for a founder to be able to gauge the level of interest or understanding. So I'm curious to know, for you and what you're doing with Brightpool, are you doing beta testing? Do you have like a small sample of users to test out your products and kind of collect their feedback? Are you doing anything like that?
Yes, actually, we had at the very beginning, we created a beta of our, I would even call it an alpha, and we gave it to the, let's say, early investors, and they were testing it for like almost 2 months, and we got a feedback from them. And actually, it was super, because if you give this opportunity to early investors, people who invested or believe in your project, if you are letting them know that the feedback they give you as creator, you want to know, it's super important for them, and they make extra work from you. So we had a lot of feedback, a positive feedback. People even were making user interface on the paper, drawing it for us and saying this should be different or change this. So this was super positive. I never thought about this that way, but actually we did it, and we got a lot of positive feedback. And after the, I would say, alpha testing with early adopters, it gave us a lot of understanding how people perceive the product and something in the buttons or something. It's not that simple. It's the best testing that you can make. Just show it to a person that doesn't know anything, sit in the front of the computer or telephone, and then bang, do it. And whatever are the first words, like, what is this? What should I do? Just put on the paper. And this is like your mantra, you have to simplify it, answer, and this is what people, because this is the ordinary people. Even I cannot do this anymore. I mean, I cannot judge, I cannot give feedback to the user interface after building it for over 2 years, because I have been here for so long that I'm not rational. I changed it like 10 times already, and I understand it, how it works on the back end, what is the mechanics. So you should always listen to the fresh people. I mean, people who will be your customers. Just keeping things simple will be beneficial for DeFi. You have to keep it simple. Otherwise, people come, see, and don't understand it, and the whole DeFi is losing. People are not getting it. It's too hard to use. If we assume the mass adoption of crypto, which is critical for crypto to be successful, then you need to have perception of average users. And if you turn this around and you have a fresh person, this is our case. We had a designer that is very talented, but he's completely not crypto. And actually, he changed everything, and he said, "Oh, this is not logical." And we're like, oh, man, this is the simplest interface you face everywhere on. And so he said, no, but it's not logical. And then we started thinking it. I had to sleep overnight with these thoughts, and in the morning I was like, maybe he's right, maybe he's right. So always listen to your customers and fresh people.
Yeah, getting outside perspective is certainly key. I'm curious to know, Kacper, now that you've gone through this journey, and obviously you still have a lot more to cover, but knowing what you know now, what is the number one thing that you've learned through this process that you would go back and apply to in the very beginning?
Oh, there's a couple of things for sure. I mean, in development of product, you have different things. You have marketing development, you have IT development, you have business development, and then you have the market that did change completely. Even in our case, we have it changed. Crypto is fast money. People make money, lose money. This is the situation, how it changed with the VCs on the market, the investment in new projects. The money is not in the VCs anymore. Money is in the retail, and this is completely so. The market did change. The product that we are building is not existing on the market at the moment. There are some similar ones, but not as exact as ours. So if you are the first one, you always face the biggest problems, the challenges, how to solve it. Once you solve it, sometimes it seems very simple, right? So, and then you say, oh, it could save me 2 months or a month. There's no simple work in general in the projects. I cannot give you one answer. I think I would change the way how we develop it a little bit.
Well, it sounds like you kind of have to go through the process yourself to fully understand. You almost have to make your mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and then fix it, right? I think anybody going through this process, no matter how much of an expert you are, you always run into roadblocks, and you always have to try to figure out a way to get around those. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, making mistakes and learning from them is a beneficial lesson. And actually, this can benefit in the project, it can benefit in the next project, and it can benefit in your life. So actually, yes. And projects are also people, so this is what a lot of companies forget. The project is also people. Yeah, you have to make the mistakes, you have to learn out of it, and just move forward. And then, as you said, you have to be lucky enough to have time to make the problems and recover. So you also need a budget. I mean, you can, in those times, if you want to be full legit, and have a nice IT development with the testing, you need some budget. In my opinion, you always have to be reasonable, and it's very simple deduction. You can see the IT team and how much was the burning rate per month, and people do have a tendency to like the projects that are simple, and you can simply pump, sell it, and dump it. Unfortunately, people are still expecting this kind of projects, to come over, and they are willing to invest. And this is what we are facing with our very strict tokenomics, where people are not liking it, So even for IDOs that is ongoing, if you try to be very fair and very strict, then you need to more budget, because you don't need to make a fundraising from people. From other side, you might not care so much about the project, make a big TG, people will sell it, your tokenomics will not handle it, on the short period of time, and basically the token will lose the value. But people also need to learn there is no fast money anywhere, even in crypto. Unfortunately, I believe people still have a tendency to look for projects where they can see, oh, I make a lot of money fast and then I'll sell it. Not people are not getting attached to projects too much, in my opinion. As you said, even in gamification, you play, you earn, and you leave. So we need, in general, projects that will keep the people tied to the platform, to the project, that people will use, like the dexes, like one dex, for example, or some platform when you do something, gaming, whatever it is, whatever the area of it is, DeFi or gamification or whatever. If this is long range, people will use it over time, and then the token will make the value, the project will make the value, and people need to learn that you can, the projects can make money over time. This is in real life. If you invest in some company and you have to wait 5-10 years for the company to grow, to make the profits, and then the shares of this company is worth more. Actually, the profits in DeFi are being created from the volume in most cases, in the dexes and different. So if those profits are being transferred to the company somehow, to the token companies somewhere, and then actually you can raise the value of the token. And this is what we are doing. For example, in the Brightpool, we're putting 70% of the profits back into the treasure pool that will be used for the beneficial. And I believe to get attached to the project for the long time, and then they will make even more money over time. Just like gold, holding gold is for 50 years. Usually it makes you more money than inflation, and of course more money than having money in your pocket, for sure. It's like holding Bitcoin, what people say. At least if you would hold it for 5 years or whatever, you will make the money in each case, right? So I don't know for the next 5 years, because the track is too short. With the gold, I would say, yeah, you are pretty good, because the history is like 3,000 years. So Bitcoin is too short to have this advantage. But this is, of course, a joke,
Yeah, Kacper, we have a few minutes left, and I
Right,
would
sure.
love to give you the opportunity to give us a quick overview about Brightpool.
Yes, so Brightpool is a decentralized DEX, and we are making the options super simple in a way that users place a spot order with the time frame, and we pay you up front for placing that. And I would just finish here. Just come over, place the order, get you extra money, and this is how it works. And what I said about tokenomics and everything, we have applied this. We use those models. We use underneath this option model, but you don't need to say it. You don't need to worry about this. So actually, you just place the spot order with the time frame, and actually, this is the option. If you look from the financial perspective, and this is what we are doing. We are simplifying the options for every user. So I hope this is a little bit specified product, but I believe this is also aiming for everyday user. You can just get more profits if so. Just I hope people will like it.
And where can people find you on social media and find Brightpool?
Yeah, so the best way is just the brightpool.finance, and you have all the Medium, Twitter, Telegram over there. Just hit us, ask questions, and we are really waiting for that, and answering actually our community till it's still relatively small, and we are able to do that.
Amazing. Kacper, thanks so much for the insight on DeFi and also all the hard work that you're putting into Brightpool. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you for being here.